Killing Slomo. Killing Slomo. Everybody, you see, Dr. William idiot can't really do his fancy skating and do the camera at the same time. Therefore, it probably doesn't look the same. But anyway, I wanted to bring you up to date with Hillary's abrasions. They are almost total body abrasions, but she's going to hang in there. They're still coming, going. However, whoever's side they're, if you're on Hillary's side, which, by the way, the Black Lives Matter group has really come out in force. They had about 110 of those people in a tiny little town where the freeway goes by. And now, what we noticed, we had helicopters watching the Iron Lungs, watching the Iron Lung pulling Hillary behind the pickup truck. And they came across another little town where they were lumbering down a very fast freeway at about 65 miles an hour. And as they did approach this town, a whole bunch of bikers, yes, motorcyclists, they were all on Japanese crotch rockets. You know, we didn't see any harbors. But anyway, these crotch rocket people came up, and a lot of them were going on back on two wheels. And one of them was standing on the seat, and they went up, they drove their motorcycles, it was about 40 of them total, around Hillary's Iron Lung, and started cheering, "Hillary, bikers for Hillary, bikers for Hillary." And one of them, who was riding, I think it was that big new Ferrari with a big wheel on the back. It was a Ducati, that big Ducati, the monster, which is a anyway, he's up on his back wheel and goes by, and that guy, I could swear it was John Podesta, but Podesta's in the back of the truck, so I knew it wasn't John Podesta. It was actually a black man, so I had no reason to think it was John Podesta. It was a black man. And he held up two fingers for peace, and then he said, screamed it loud as he could as he drove by on his motorcycle, which you couldn't really hear it that well because he had taken the exhaust pipe off, so it was very loud. But he said, "Kill Slomo," like that, and Hillary heard just enough of it, like that, "Kill Slomo," like that. She was in there bouncing around inside the Iron Lung, taking care of her abrasions. And a little smile, you could almost imagine it from the helicopter scene, that there was a little smile on her face, that this was keeping her going. Even though they had just made it into the earlier portions of Pennsylvania. Hey dude, good to see you. Couldn't be better. That guy's one of us, by the way. He believes in God more than anybody. And he told me I ought to look forward, Slomo, I ought to look forward to going to heaven because he'd be able to do this in and out the planets of the solar system, which was a great image. I love that image. But anyway, so Hillary's bouncing across. We've got this. Where were we on this thing? Yeah. Oh, yeah, the motorcyclists. And some of them, they had a special license plate that said Black Lives Matter and rule. And will rule. One of them had, and will rule if Hillary's elected. Go Hillary. And it was a long thing. I couldn't read it really from the scene that they didn't have it on the screen long enough for me to read the whole thing, but I'd never seen a license with that kind of writing all the way down. It went down onto the pavement as he went by. That was the one with the big wheel. Yeah, Ducati. That thing will move. Yeah, you guys know about motorcycles. You see a Black Lives Matter going back down the damn street on the back wheel, and a bunch of cops chasing him, and everybody going yahoo, yahoo, like that. You've seen yourself a person on a motorcycle who is inside what we call the zone. The athletes call it the zone. As you know, Slomo believes that Christ called it the kingdom of God. It's all available to us. Actually, we're in it without even knowing it. But anyway, how awful the theology. I'm not claiming to understand any of this deeper stuff. You know, the part of us. The thing is, Hillary, these people that are trying to have repeated heart transplants and stay alive no matter what the cost, they fear, they really fear the possibility that there's a God. See, this is what Immanuel Kant called the categorical imperative. We're born with this. So if you do some dire deed in your life and nobody knows about it, you can say, well, there's no God and I'm not going to heaven, but deep inside, this other part of yourself has already been wired to think, no, there is a God and there's an afterlife, okay, and you can't get rid of it. So this explains all these people that are following Hillary and that way of life, okay? There's an easier way to deal with that kind of guilt, and that is to ask forgiveness and to believe in God, okay? It's just the opposite, but they prefer to do it the other way, and that walls them off from the rest of us who don't feel quite that guilty. I mean, we feel guilty, but we haven't done the ultimate that we have to have, okay? This is Psychology 101. Or it's not even psychology, it's what any child would understand. But anyway, so Slomo only has 3 assassins. He's well fortified with various undercover people to make sure that one of the assassins doesn't make it to him. And of course they will be looking for Hillary if she ever gets across the country on that damn iron line. She is getting cheered on by Black Lives Matter, and there were some Mexican groups like Intervision or Mexicans Rule. There was some organization for the illegals. Illegals deserve to be legals. That was one sign we saw. Trump is a racist. Trump hates indigenous people. Trump is hate rules in Trump's heart, but we want love to rule. These are all signs that these Black Lives Matter people now are carrying, which is very convincing that their heart is in the right place. They should have changed their slogan, though, that dark lives matter, but then that takes abstraction, doesn't it? I could believe that dark lives matter. People that are born with one affliction or the other, doesn't matter what it is, but have to live kind of a subliminal life, say like a person born with a very serious disability. So you could call it a dark life. But I think most of us would believe that those lives matter, and they matter just as much as any life without the disability or whatever the downside is, whether you're born in one race or the other, whether you're born intelligent or stupid. I mean, the whole thing. So dark lives matter. I think we'd all go. But this idea that if your skin, and a lot of those people are living dark lives, and their lives do matter, but it's not because they're black. That the black might be the cause of their dark lives, but the thing they share, the darkness they really share, is with the rest of us. Okay, a lot of us are born with things that are just as bad as being born as a stupid black in a ghetto. I mean, that's pretty bad when I think about it. But why don't you try being born in a wheelchair? Okay. Try being 3 years old and getting brain cancer. Try doing a lot of other stuff instead of going out on the street and saying Black Lives Matter. You know, the interesting thing about all this, if they hadn't taken Christianity away from these people, it would all be exactly the opposite. Instead of being a hindrance to our world, we'd all cherish them. But the Democrats have changed that. These people are Luciferians, and they're going to pull other people into the Lucifer way of looking at life to reassure themselves that there's no afterlife. And that's what Hillary's doing, and of course Obama. I mean, Obama doesn't, his brain isn't elaborate enough to have a true conscience, you can tell that. Hillary is going to change into a little old lady now. It'll be interesting to see if she ends up being a crabby little old lady or a happy little old lady. But either way, she should spend about 2 years in prison to reassure the rest of us that Comey and all those people are not as villainous as they appear, okay? It's going to go down. Of course, they don't care because they think there's no afterlife. They don't care about their progeny. They don't care what people think, so they have this bucket attitude. So, by the way, that guy is an attorney, motorcycle racer, adventurer, does everything. He's kind of a loner. Real nice guy. Every time I've advised him not to cut back on his motorcycle racing, I could see the same thought in his head that I used to have. That is, I will when I decide to. But he very politely listened. Okay. I'll be back with another chapter. Maybe we'll talk more about the defenses that Slomo is still elaborating around here. But I wanted you to know that the Black Lives Matter group is still being funded by the globalists, who are making a lot of money off of the taxes. Okay, the way they run the taxes. So. If you give a shit about any of this, vote Trump.